Kamusta mga ka-So JTV? Welcome to So Jannelle. I'm your host, Jannelle. So very, very excited today to introduce you to a beautiful, powerful, inspiring young Filipina. Her name is Bianca Bustamante. You know, I've been meaning to do this interview. I think last year was when she broke into the scene and everyone was just texting us about her, requesting for us to interview you. I was telling her earlier, even my uncle, who doesn't even text me on my birthday, texted me without even a hi or hello, a link to an article about you, and I'm so happy to have you join us today. Thank you for making time for us, Bianca.
Thank you so much for inviting me over and driving all the way to here in San Jose to do this interview.
Yes. What brings you to San Jose first?
Well, my dad was an OFW, so he wasn't based in California and here where he had relatives and stuff. So I think it really held a special place in my heart because I was also driving a lot here during my junior karting days when I was like 9 or 10. So I would always drive around San Jose. So yeah, gives me a little special place in my heart.
Racing as a female driver and also racing as a Filipina. You know, racing is not really a very popular sport in the Philippines. And so when your name broke into the scene, everyone was just cheering you on, so very happy for you. But in a way, they were also surprised to see a Filipina's name up there, right? So can you trace your journey to us? What got you started in racing?
Wow, the journey has been so crazy and like long that I don't even know where to begin, but really it started through my dad. He had the passion. I think, early on he was really my idol. He loved the sport. He was also a former karter. So it was really his inspiration to hopefully, have a kid one day and teach him or her karting and show this amazing, beautiful world. Not really expecting that I would eventually become, who I am now. So it's quite funny looking back to it. But yeah, through my dad, I was introduced to racing when I was like about a year old. I already had my first racing suit. We had a photo together. He would bring me to the podium whenever he would win karting races. And by the time I was 3, I was already driving my first ever kart. So yeah, I've been driving pretty much my whole life.
And by the time you were 6, you were pretty determined as a child. By the time you were 6, you told your dad that this is it. You even had a plan, like this is how we're gonna do it, right? I mean, what made you decide at 6 that you really wanted to do it at such a young age? What made you want to do it? What did you like about it?
Wow, I mean, at 6 years old, like little Bia was already like very straightforward. I was like, I have my head on the game. I know what I want, eyes on the prize, and really, like it's as a kid, it's okay to dream. Like people would always tell me, keep dreaming, and I really did. Not really realizing, how difficult it would be to get up there. I mean, I knew the journey was not going to be easy. So that's why I knew at the age of 6 that I had to make sacrifices to make it to my Everest. That's why I kind of had this plan. I told my parents that, okay, I'm gonna do home study program. I'm gonna go to the gym. I started working out at the age of 7. I was going to the gym. After school, in the evenings, I would train, and because when I was a kid, I was kind of like a bit of chubby, like I had like some baby fat. So I told my parents that racing is a very physical sport, and I need to be as fit and as strong as I can be. So I would train in the evenings and the afternoons, and then during the night, I would even go to some classes to do some boxing or jiu-jitsu, just to get extra muscle and stuff. So at like the age of 6 that I was already making all of the sacrifices in a way. And I think that's really that's the reason why my parents supported me in it, because they knew that I was dedicated and that I was aware, of what it takes to make it.
Yeah, I want to unpack a lot of things that you said, because first, when I remember when I was 6, I'd wanted to be maybe a ballerina. I don't even remember, because it changes, and you're 18 now. Did it ever change? Did you ever waver? Did you ever think, oh, I want to be a lawyer instead. I want to be, something else instead. No more racing.
No, there wasn't one moment in my life where I once thought that I didn't want to be a racing driver. I think ever since I could walk, all I wanted to do was press the pedals and the brakes and the throttle and go fast and turn the wheel. And this really was, the true honesty. Because the minute I got in the kart, I was just like so addicted. It was something that I dreamt of when I woke up in the morning, something that I wanted to do before I fall asleep. And I think it's just those moments in life where you kind of find, your calling so early on that you can't really let it go.
And it's not even about winning for you. I have read so many articles where you say you just want to drive.
I do.
It's not about the winning. And it is not just an expensive sport, an unpopular sport in the Philippines. It's also a dangerous sport. Was there ever a time when you got scared or?
I mean, honestly, that's very true that the sport, there's a lot of risk whenever you get into it. That's why I'm very thankful to my parents that they actually supported me. Being the única hija in the family, they still pushed me forward and helped me pursue the sport. But yeah, there's a lot of risk, danger, and like I said, it requires to be very physically strong to be able to drive the car. In karting, we go about 160 kilometers per hour, and at a very young age, you kind of need to withstand the G-force, the wind, the turning, and everything. And to be able to withstand that, especially being a girl, I think
genetically
we are weaker than guys.
Physicality,
the physicality of the sport. And pretty much my whole life, all I've done is race against boys, and I think that's another part of the challenge that I had to face, was that I was often the only female.
Right.
And in a sea full of men, it's hard to dominate being a woman. But I knew that with enough courage, conviction, and and the power to train myself, to discipline myself, I was able to make it. And
we see all smiles now, but I know that it wasn't easy. You mentioned your parents supporting you. We already touched on how difficult it is, all the sacrifices that you've had to make. We're going to be pausing right now, but we'll be coming back to talk about those sacrifices. I mean, those sacrifices, those times when you maybe wavered, or those times when you maybe thought, this is it for you, you'll hang up your suit and that's it. That's all when we return on the show. Don't go away.